Culture unwrapped, each click is gold. From the old school beats to new tales told. News and reviews, she tells it straight. With Tasha Pierce, life's living great.
What's up, Team No T, and welcome back to Unwrapped. It's me, Tosh, and today we're going to be addressing some rumors that we've been getting out of the MCU that they may be ready to recast T'Challa. And we've also been hearing that some actors have been turning it down. But let's start with why it makes sense to recast T'Challa and to do it now. Right now, we're in the middle of the multiverse saga, right? So nobody that comes into the MCU via the multiverse saga is stepping on anybody else's toes. So there wouldn't be trying to fill Chadwick's shoes by coming in from the multiverse. This would be an opportunity for a new actor to play T'Challa and to make the character his own, because the events in his universe would shape him into a different T'Challa than the one we knew in the 616. Also, the fandom, who has been split on the issue of whether or not the MCU should recast T'Challa, they've had their opportunity to mourn. We had our basic saying goodbye to Chadwick Boseman in the character of T'Challa in Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. In Black Panther 2, we had to accept that T'Challa left a void where, as far as Black Panther was concerned, and we went on the journey with the Wakandans about who would fill those big shoes. And as it turned out, spoiler alert, it ends up being his sister, who is the rightful heir to the throne and the mantle of the Black Panther. But we also saw the introduction of young T'Challa. So now we have to wonder what we're going to do with that character in the future. So you guys tell me how you feel about this being the right time to do this. Now, while it has always made sense to me for this to be the opportunity to reintroduce T'Challa into the main MCU timeline, industry insider Jeff Sneider started up this whole conversation when he reported something to the effect of, because of course it is behind a paywall, so I couldn't read the article, but something to the effect of Marvel is rearranging things ahead of Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, with Robert Downey Jr. returning as Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man. So this has opened the door for T'Challa to be recast through the multiverse. Now, he also states that one actor who was offered the role a few months after Disney's Comic-Con announcement declined. And that actor declined because they were hesitant to step into Chadwick Boseman's iconic role. Even though I highly disagree with this would be an opportunity for you to make this character yours. But anyway, going back to what Jeff Sneider said. Jeff Sneider said, despite this, it is certain that somebody is eventually going to take on that role and honor Boseman's legacy. He also states it's unclear if T'Challa will appear in Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars, but whoever is cast will likely reprise the role in Black Panther 3, which has been discussed by Ryan Coogler and Denzel Washington. We'll stick a pin in that. It is expected that Coogler will assist Marvel's Kevin Feige in recasting T'Challa with the utmost care and in consultation with Chadwick Boseman's family, again making sure that they honor this late actor. Now, based on information from agency sources, according to Jeff Sneider, Marvel is actively searching for a new T'Challa, and Marvel did not, of course, offer comment to Jeff Sneider prior to him releasing his article. I'm also seeing concern within the fandom about what about Shuri? Shuri was handed the mantle of Black Panther back in Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, and she wouldn't have had much screen time as the Black Panther if they went ahead and brought a T'Challa from another universe in and plopped him into the role. But if we remember, Shuri was kind of a reluctant Black Panther. She stepped in out of necessity, not because this is something that she wanted to do. And let's be real, even though she outsmarted Namor in the end of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and she formed this very uneasy alliance with him, the bottom line is Shuri would have gotten her ass handed to her by Namor. So she's smart enough to know what she doesn't know. And sometimes being strong is letting go, so she would have to let go of the mantle of Black Panther for now if they bring in a more experienced T'Challa from the multiverse. Now, in my opinion, the best case scenario for recasting T'Challa would be somebody in that 30 to 40-year-old sweet spot, somebody who could play this character for the next 5, 10, 15 years and still be realistic about it. Also, you kind of want somebody who's lesser known. If you ask me, a lesser known actor would thrive in this position because you're not bringing them in with any expectations or baggage. And also, we need somebody who is just a great actor, somebody who will nail that accent, and somebody who will gel with the rest of the cast. Those are things that would be best case scenario. Of course, we know we don't always get everything we want. So, of course, I said we got a sweet spot of 30 to 40 years old. Now, word on the street, and I don't have any reliable sources about this piece of the information, but word on the street is that 3 actors turned down the role, even though Jeff Sneider said only 1 actor turned down the role. So do with that what you please. The 3 actors that the internet says turned down the role would be number 1, John Boyega, which no surprise there. He was treated like shit in the Star Wars fandom. He wants nothing else to do with a franchise under the Disney umbrella. I would like to see him enter a different franchise in a different world without the toxic fandom. So meaning not your Star Wars, not your Star Trek, not your DCU, and not your MCU. A brand new franchise where he could be coming in on the ground floor, because John Boyega is a hell of an actor. So, given the right opportunity without all of the toxicity of an existing fandom, I think he would do great and be a great anchor for a franchise. Then there's David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo is a fantastic actor, absolutely magnificent, but he's also 48 years old. And I'm not being ageist here, but if you're trying to use this character for a number of years, and I do want T'Challa to be part of the MCU for at least 10 years, would we be able to have him for at least the 10 years that we got with other big names in the MCU, your Iron Mans, your Thors, your Captain Americas? We need to have him around for a little while. And I don't think if David Oyelowo was offered the position, maybe that's why he turned it down. And I'm sure he probably left the door open for something that was more suited for him. The third actor who allegedly turned down the role was one of the people that's on my short list. And my short list is really short of fan casts, according to Tasha. That actor is Damson Idris. Damson Idris checked all the boxes. He's a fantastic actor. He's 33 years old. He looks the part. He would fit in with the cast as far as how he looks. And he would be a fantastic T'Challa. If it's true that he turned down the role, I am so heartbroken. Because if he turned that role down and said he didn't want to step into Chadwick's shoes, he is absolutely wrong. He would not have to play the character the exact same way that Chadwick did, because he'd be coming in from another universe. There are some other names that I've seen thrown around a bit. And we all know that there are a big 2. The big 2 that have been on everybody's lips is Aldis Hodge at 38 years old and John David Washington at 40 years old. Again, they are at the farther end of my sweet spot for those actors, but give Aldis Hodge 10 years, he'll be 48, 49 years old. That would be a perfect time to step away from the role. Same as John David Washington. John David Washington would be 50, 51 when it's time to turn over the role in the Tasha Marvel Cinematic Universe. The problem with those 2 actors are they're hot right now. They're extremely hot. Would they want to sign a contract saying, yeah, I could do 4 or 5 movies? Are they willing to kind of box themselves in, depending on how Marvel wants to move forward with doing stuff like that again? You know, they had a lot of actors committed for a long time, and maybe it's time for Marvel to rethink the way that they are going about contracting these actors. Then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 other names that I've heard, but not as much as I've heard Aldis Hodge and John David Washington. That is Kofi Sorobo. That's one of my guys. He's 30 years old. He's handsome. I believe that he could nail it. I'm not sure about these accents, but I think anybody can be trained to do anything if they are as good of an actor as they come across. Also, going from the youngest to the oldest, then at 34 years old, we have Trevante Rhodes, another fantastic actor, another actor that I'm pretty sure has the chops to do it. Then at 36 years old, Yalan Noel, who again could be somebody who could be on the higher end of our sweet spot, but still be young enough to carry this role for 10, 12 years if he must. After that, I'm going to save the next person uh, for last. So I'm going to skip one and go to Lance Gross. Lance Gross is 43 years old, a little bit over the sweet spot. And that is why I'm like, he's been named and people are saying his name and his name is being tossed around. But that doesn't mean that he would be the perfect casting for T'Challa. He would be a good casting for T'Challa if he could nail that accent, but he wouldn't be perfect. You know who people are saying would be perfect to step into that role? Michael B. Jordan. That's right. We've got Robert Downey Jr. coming back to the MCU as Doctor Doom, the actual total polar opposite of the character he is renowned and loved for in the MCU. Now he's playing the exact opposite, the master villain of this next phase of Marvel stories. So why couldn't you bring Michael B. Jordan into the MCU from another universe and have him be the T'Challa? He's 37 years old, still in the sweet spot. He could play the character over a number of years if he chose, or they could just pass it on to T'Challa Jr. at some point. But what most people want to see is a T'Challa in the MCU and not taking the easy way out. They want a T'Challa who is T'Challa. Could Michael B. Jordan be the best choice that's out there? He's pretty damn good. He's pretty damn good. Would people be able to get past the Killmonger side of him? If we can get past Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man, we can get past Michael B. Jordan being Killmonger. It was a choice to have him in the first movie and kill him off, because then it's almost like you could never use that actor again. And maybe, just maybe, that's the way Michael B. Jordan wanted it. He didn't want to be beholden to a franchise for forever. So if that's the way he wanted it, then so be it, so be it. That's good. But if he is up for stepping into the MCU, he might be the perfect choice. But I'm going to tell you the choice that's most likely. The top two picks. The top two picks are the ones that would be most likely. And the top two picks amongst a lot of fans are Aldis Hodge and John David Washington. However, remember we stuck a pin at the beginning of this video in the comment that Ryan Coogler and Denzel Washington have been having talks about Black Panther 3. So wouldn't it seem more likely that John David Washington would be the pick for the next T'Challa, given his dad's involvement? Because if we remember, Chadwick Boseman very famously said there would be no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. This would make it true on two fronts, because we only got Chadwick Boseman's take on the Black Panther through the benevolence of Denzel Washington. And wouldn't it just be ironic that the only way that we get the Black Panther back in the MCU is through the lineage of Denzel Washington? That to me would be poetic justice. So you tell me what you thought about everything that we discussed in this video. Who was your favorite pick for T'Challa? Are we ready? Are we ready to recast T'Challa? Sound off in the comments. And while you're there, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, get me to 2,000 subscribers, and turn your notifications on so that you will not miss the next time we meet here at the intersection between pop culture and common sense. And we will be serving all the takes and none of the tea, because I don't do tea. You deserve so much more than just tea. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.